Wordsworth, Romney, obsolescence.
You walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the super-states that preceded it, it has one iron rule. It is an enemy and truth is a menace. This is Mr. Romney Wordsworth, in his last 48 hours on Earth. He's a citizen of the state, but will soon have to be eliminated. Because he is built out of flesh, and because he has a mind.
You've been under investigation, Mr. Wordsworth, for the mandatory period of 1 year and 11 months. You're found to be obsolete. The purpose of this hearing is to make a finding in the matter and make a sentence accordingly. Do you understand that, Mr. Wordsworth? Your occupation, Mr. Wordsworth?
A librarian, sir.
A librarian. Having to do with books.
Yes, sir. Books.
Since there are no more books, Mr. Wordsworth, there are no more libraries. The field investigators in your sector have classified you as obsolete. Your rights are as follows, Mr. Wordsworth. You are to be liquidated within a period of 48 hours. You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins with printer's ink. The narcotics that you call literature, poetry, essays of all kind, all of it an opiate. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
The Chancellor, the late Chancellor, was only partly correct. He was obsolete. But so is the state, the entity he worshipped. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete.
Ja mensen, daar zijn we er weer. RHTV Live. Vanuit het mooie Maastricht. Ja. En we hebben weer veel op het agenda staan. We laten eerst even zien waar we zijn. Zo. Kijk, hier het mooie Maastricht. Ja. Dus daar streamen we vandaan. Hello to you all. We are streaming live from Maastricht, looking at the world and what's happening around the world. And let's first take a look at a globalist, right? David Rockefeller. Let's put him on the map. So, daar gaan we eerst naar kijken. Ja, dan gaan we even lezen wat hij allemaal geschreven heeft. We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time magazine, and other great publications whose directors have attended our meetings and respected their promises of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subjected to the lights of publicity during those years. But the world is more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government. We are close to that with the European Union. The supranational sovereignty of an intellectual elite and world bankers is surely preferable to the national autodetermination practice in the past centuries. Ja, mensen, technocrats are leading our lives, basically. Ja, technocraten hebben het voor het zeggen, zoals zo'n, hoe heet het mens van de Europese Commissie. Ja, jullie weten het wel, hè. Ja. Von der Leyen. Ja. Heb jij op Von der Leyen gestemd? Ik niet. Heb jij erop gestemd? Ik niet. En ja, dat zijn technocraten. Het zijn mensen die achter de schermen het voor het zeggen hebben. Zoals zo'n David Rockefeller. So I'm talking about the technocrats who are behind the scenes, you know, investing and divesting into certain ideologies like Black Lives Matter. George Soros, one of those players, but we're lighting David Rockefeller here. And he basically wants a world government, and they are, you know, they are close to that. We hebben de VN, de Verenigde Naties, die ja, eigenlijk ook technocraten zijn. En die ook eigenlijk geen macht hebben, maar het is een overkoepelende organisatie. En die kunnen dan druk uitvoeren op bepaalde landen, zoals Nederland. En dat zijn belangenverstrengelingen. Ja, waar onze politici dus inzetten, zoals World Economic Forum, de Bilderberg Groep, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations. Het zijn allemaal schaduwlobby's, die technocraten die het voor het zeggen hebben, die het beleid bepalen. Ja. We must not give in to these technocrats who want to, you know, change the course of history. That is for us to decide, right? Ja. Dus, en we gaan even overschakelen naar het Europees Parlement. Het filmpje heb ik ook een paar keer laten zien. Maar het is nogmaals mooi om dat te gaan bekijken. So we're going to the European Parliament, and someone from Ireland, I guess, spoke out against the Ukraine war. So let's take a look at this here.
The war in Ukraine is quickly escalating into a wider horror, and from what I can see, practically nobody in this chamber is doing anything to prevent it. In fact, most people seem to get off on the fact that it's escalating. And at this precise moment, of course, as usual, the voices challenging the rush to war are attacked and silenced, smeared as traitors, cronies, Putin puppets, Kremlin stooges, Russian ages. Frankly, it's pathetic. And I don't make the comparison lightly, But the crudeness and cynicism of these slurs coming from mainstream EU parties might as well have been written by Hermann Göring, who infamously said that even though people never want war, they can be brought to war with threats and smears. He said, all you have to do, tell them they're being attacked, denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing their country to danger. It works the same every way. Where he led, you are following. This House should be ashamed of this debate. Words are being twisted, meaning subverted, and the truth turned on its head. Opposing the horrible madness of war is not anti-European. It's not anti-Ukrainian. It's not pro-Russian. It's common sense. The working class of Europe have nothing to gain from this war and everything to lose. And I find it laughable that those calling for arms to Ukraine never called for arms for the people of Palestine or for the people of Yemen. Unlike you, I oppose all war. I want it stopped. I make no apology for that, and I'm not going to be scapegoated and labelled for it either. The war.
That is very nicely said. Dat is heel mooi gezegd door deze MEP van Ierland. En ja, ik ben ook tegen de oorlog. I oppose this war, right? We want peace. That's what we want. And it's a long road to peace. It's easier to hate someone else than to love someone else. So we just took a look at David Rockefeller, and we're going to take a look at one of his minions, which is Justin Trudeau. And I'm proud of the Canadians for confronting this fool, right? And this is what we're supposed to do in the Netherlands. Ja, mensen, als het zover is, de politieke campagnes die komen eraan, mag ik aannemen. Want je weet maar nooit. We zitten in een staat van beleg. Maar ja, het kan voorkomen dus dat Rutte 1 of 2 keer op straat komt. Nou, kijk, dit moet je dus gaan doen om zo'n idioot als Rutte, zo'n oorlogscrimineel als Rutte, te confronteren. Ja. That's how you do it. Zo moet je dat doen, mensen. En ja, dan laat je ook zien dat je het niet eens bent met Rutte. Er wordt gevraagd, waar is dit? Door Jatske, die vraagt, waar is dit? Dit is in Canada. In het plaatsje Hamilton, Ontario. Nou, Ontario is de provincie, de staat. En Hamilton is het stadje. Dus zo moet je dat doen. Zo moet je dus de premier gaan confronteren. Dat kunnen wij ook als Nederlanders zijnde. Gezien wij onszelf aan de snelweg plakken. Voor een groot gedeelte. Want die denken dat de wereld vergaat. Omdat we fossiele brandstoffen gebruiken. Het is echt gewoon debiel. Echt gewoon debiel. Maar goed. Zo moet je dat doen. Zo moet je dat doen. Niet jezelf aan een schilderij plakken. of aan een snelweg. Nee, die lui moet je gaan confronteren. Ja. So I was just saying in Dutch, this is what we're supposed to do against our Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, the war criminal, and basically a follow-up of Harry Potter, which is Jan Peter Balkenende. And you guys are curious, right? Why he's called Harry Potter? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Jan Peter Balkenende. Jan Peter Balkenende. Moeten we wel een grappige skateboard. So we had a prime minister, and he thought, I want to be hip, I want to be cool, I'm going to stand on a skateboard. So let's take a look at this here.
Dit fragmentje kennen we allemaal. Het staat stevast in de top van meest hilarische tv-momenten. Maar hoe kwam het eigenlijk zover dat Balkenende op het skateboard stapte? EDTV heeft de exclusieve opnames van het toenmalige Eindhovense blad Paper.
So Balkenende is visiting Eindhoven, which is a city in the Netherlands. And, there were some kids on skateboard and, talking to the prime minister. And let's take a look at this here. I'll show you where Eindhoven is.
Balken?
Ja, premier Balkenende.
Balkie? Nee, wist ik niet. Goeie OB, die van de dingen.
Hij heeft laatst aangegeven dat hij wat hipper wil worden eigenlijk. Dat vindt hij zelf ook een beetje saai.
Hipper?
Ja,
Hij is ook wel saai vent eigenlijk.
Nou ja, dan leek het ons een goed idee van Paper om hem skatles te geven. Kunnen jullie niet eens even wat fijne...
Dat is wel een best idee. Serieus. Ik wil het best doen. We geven hem zeker skaten. Voilà. We leren hem lesje. We leren hem lesje. Nee, wilt u misschien skaten?
Wat zeg je nou?
Wilt u misschien skateboarden?
Ja, ben ik niet skateboarden.
Nee, want u wilt toch wat hip worden, heb ik gehoord. Ja, dat is goed. Dat is hipper wil worden.
Niks. Vertel eens, hoe gaat dat dan?
Ja, kijk, we gaan erop staan.
Ja.
En dan zet je gewoon af, dat je hier bent.
Ja.
Heel simpel. Dus mag me vasthouden.
Is dit de stroom?
Ja, ik mag me vasthouden.
Ja, maar dan moet je beweging hebben natuurlijk. Hè?
Ja, maar ik zie aan u dat u de feeling al hebt.
Dat feeling hebben we.
You guys see that? That used to be our prime minister. Now compare that to Putin, right? Putin on a horse with a bare chest, very manly. And we used to have a prime minister who couldn't even stand on a skateboard. It's like, oh my God, man. En ja, het is ongelooflijk. Maar goed. Zo gebeurt er veel meer in de wereld. We're going to take a look at the map again. There we have the map. And our former prime minister went to Eindhoven. And there we have Eindhoven. Right? It's in Brabant, the province of Brabant. And we are situated in Limburg, and there are more provinces. So, what else do we have? There was an attack in Iran. Yes. Iran werd aangevallen, mensen. Niet alleen hebben ze daar opstand, maar ze werden ook aangevallen. Ja, door drones. Drones were attacking Iran. And let's take a look at an article from Al Jazeera. Wait, even kijken, waar hebben we dat? Hier. Iran thwarts drone attack on Isfahan military site. Now we're going to look up where that is. Isfahan. There. Okay, we got that on the map. Iranian Defense Ministry says a loud blast in Isfahan was caused by unsuccessful drone attacks. And the article goes on saying there's an invisible proxy war against between Israel and Iran. We're going to show you guys that on the map. Let's read a few sentences here. One of the drones was hit air defense, and the other two were caught in defense traps and blew up. Said the statement carried by the state news agency IRNA. Fortunately, this unsuccessful attack did not cause any loss of life and caused minor damage to the workshop's roof, it said. The ministry did not say who was suspected of carrying out the attack. Dus een grote ontploffing in Isfahan, laten we zo zien op de kaart waar dat is. En 0 slachtoffers, wel een klein beetje schade. En zoals ik al eerder zei, er is een onzichtbare oorlog tussen Iran en Israël. Die kunnen elkaar niet uitstaan. En ja, er gebeurt dit. Goed, we laten het op de kaart zien. Waar Isfahan nou precies is. So, we're going to show Isfahan. There we have Isfahan in Iran. And let's zoom out here. It's basically in the center of the country, small region. And that's where the attacks were at a military base. Ja, mensen, er gebeurt heel veel in de wereld. Zo zijn er ook tensies in Haiti. So we're going to Haiti. Let's see what's happening there. Haiti. There we go. So Port-au-Prince is the capital of Haiti. It's basically 2 countries on one island. Yeah, the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And basically, the last time we put our eyes on Haiti, the president was assassinated. And as far as I know, some cabinet minister took power. And the people of Haiti say, this is not my president. And there are like gangs and groups, controlling parts of Haiti and parts of Port-au-Prince. So let's take a look at what's happening over there. Al Jazeera is a very good source. They have a lot of good stuff to show. So here you guys go. So this is Haiti right now. And, it's a very mineral-rich country. They have a lot of minerals and stuff, diamonds and stuff like that. But very, 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 very corrupt. So we're going to take a look at this here. Looks like a war zone.
Protests in Haiti, this time around led by men in police uniforms. They were angry about the killings of officers over the last few days.
They killed 15 policemen in 1 month. After God, then comes the police. We stand with our policemen.
Some went to the capital's airport, stopping Prime Minister Ariel Henry from leaving it after he arrived from a summit in Argentina.
We need a revolution. We need to have a bloodbath if Ariel Henry signs a pact with the bandits. A lot of police are dead and he didn't say anything, not even a tweet for the policeman who died. We are in the streets to fight for our brothers and sisters who are victimized by the bandits. We have to take to the streets every day to get what we want.
Eventually, Prime Minister Henry managed to leave the airport, but he's at the head of a political crisis in Haiti. Powerful gangs now control more than 60% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, following a breakdown in institutional order triggered by the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in 2021, unleashing levels of violence not seen here in decades, extorting, murdering, raping to control those in their dominions.
Gangs have increasingly resorted to the deliberate killing of men, women, and children as young as 10 years old, have been brutally raped, a tactic that spread fear and destroys the social fabric of communities under the control of rival gangs.
The Haitian police are hopelessly overmatched. The United Nations is advocating for an international force to be deployed to keep law and order in the country. But so far, no one wants to lead it. Meanwhile, Haiti burns, slipping ever closer to a failed state. John Holman, Al Jazeera.
And the president was assassinated, right? Now, who assassinated the president? Who could that be, right? Let's take a look at the CIA. Operation Mongoose. Ring a bell? We could look it up, right? Operation Mongoose, which was a Cuban intervention, you know. But let's stay on other topics. So there's a lot happening in the world. And of course, Canada is also very, very active after the event, the truckers event. It's 1 year after the truckers event, and the Canadians stand proud. Here we have Victoria, BC, Freedom Rally, January 28th. And let's take a look at this here.
Yeah, I know there's another streamer that's there today. He's you know Travel Fund? You ever heard of Travel Fund? No. Travel Fund 69, but he was there today. There's a bunch of them streaming there today. But quite a crowd in Ottawa. So. Absolutely. I know that I believe they're going to be doing the overpasses tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm going to try and see if I can find an overpass that's got some people.
Yeah, I think they're starting at Uptown. That's going to be the big one, I think, and then wherever else along there.
So you think it's going to be starting at Uptown and then going north?
That's what I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
The overpass at Carey.
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually seen people out there.
You know, every time I see Vic BC live, I ask them the question about, you know, what do Canadians know about the Netherlands? So, Vic, if you're watching, remember that question, right? Yeah. So, it's good that Canadians are still standing strong against their totalitarian government, and this is what the Netherlands should do. but we are distracted by the environment. There are a lot of people gluing themselves on highways for the environment. So we're going to take a look at Pound, which is basically Dutch media. And here we have a lot of climate people blocking a highway going to The Hague, right? And why am I mentioning this? You know, we started off with David Rockefeller, right? Now, who do you think funds these people? It's a shadow organizations, and you know, George Soros, all these power brokers that come together at the World Economic Forum to exploit more people. So we're going to take a look at this here. Ja, de klimaatgekkies die worden dus ondersteund door de schaduwpoppetjes. En zoals zo'n Rockefeller of Soros of power brokers die dus dit ondersteunen. En ja, die mensen denken dat de wereld vergaat. Dat zijn de wappies. Goed, we gaan een stukje hier naar kijken.
Je dan dat je opgepakt kan worden?
Ja, ik begrijp wel wat de actie doet. Ja.
Begrijpt u de politie?
Ja, ik begrijp dat de politie gewoon een taak heeft natuurlijk. Ja. Wil je plakken?
Ja, ik wil, want zo lijmen jullie je dus vast.
Ja, ga je plakken?
Gaan we even kijken hoe het werkt dan?
Ik ga je alleen als je gaat plakken aan de straat, dan doe ik het.
Oké, is goed. Want zijn we toch een waanzinnig ruimdenkende omroep, hè?
Ja, ik vind het geweldig dat je het doet.
Ik ben benieuwd hoe dat dan is.
Zou ik doen een beetje...
So this guy is going to glue himself on the highway. You know, amazing. This is amazing. This is insanity, man.
Niks om de randjes. Ook nog wat onderhand, zo. Hey,
Ik ga even kijken hoe het is, hoor.
Ja, gezellig. Dit had ik niet van je verwacht, dus ik ben heel blij dat je dit doet.
Maar Omroep Pound staat er maar wel elke keer, hè?
Zo is dat. Ik kan bijna zeggen dat jij ook een klimaatactivist bent.
Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
Iedereen kan er zo loskomen. Hele goede dag, houdt het een beetje gezellig. Boe! Wat zeg je? Fuck off!
So here we have an Antifa climate activist, and you know, it really is amazing. Really is amazing. We are living on a planet that's been around for millions of years. It has like comets hitting the planet, stuff like that. You know, the end of times. We know our history, right? Babylon fell not only because of wars and stuff like that, but also rocks that came from the sky, and you know, end of civilization kind of stuff. And we still survived. We are a strong species. And people are going towards idiocracy, right? Why would you glue yourself on a highway to make a statement? Because the world is falling apart? Really? Ja, mensen, ik vraag me het echt af. De wereld vergaat echt niet, hoor. Nee, we hebben nog super lang te gaan. Ja? We leven op een levende planeet. Ze zeiden ooit, de olievoorraden, ja, dat zal niet lang duren voordat de olie op is. Nou, er wordt nog steeds olie gebruikt, hoor. Dus we leven op een levende planeet. Ja? En heel veel mensen hebben het niet eens door. Omdat je ingecapsuleerd bent in in een bepaald manier van denken en zoiets. Het is echt heel, heel erg. Het zijn de klimaatzombies. These are the climate zombies. They have no knowledge, you know, and they think that the world is going to end. Echt heel, heel erg. The false paradigm is strong. But we are stronger, right? We base ourselves on knowledge and what's happening around the world. And, you know, Al Jazeera says most, Al Jazeera zegt het meest, dus die gaat verslag geven voor ons. En we kijken naar bepaalde gebieden die tensies heeft, zoals Israël. Ja, oh jee, wat is daar allemaal gaande? Nou, heel veel. Heel veel. Yeah. So we're going back to watch what's happening in Israel. And the spiral of violence is getting bigger over there. So here we have Israel, right, which used to be Palestine, which used to be a part of the Ottoman Empire, and it's falling apart bit by bit. The people, you know, the Jewish state says, this is our land and you're not welcome here, even though there are like families and who've been living there for eons, you know, and very, very sad state of affairs in Israel. So let's take a look at what's happening over there, because the very criminal Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was a prime minister, then, you know, got fired because of corruption allegations, and he went to court, but he bought off a couple of people, and the Israeli parliament fell again. It fell like 5 times with a couple of months span, right? So you have one cabinet that had like 2 months, and then the cabinet fell. The other cabinet had 3 months, you know, and now we at least have a stable government with Netanyahu in power, but the tensions are growing. So we're going to take a look at what's happening in Israel. Even kijken.
אני רוצה נשקים ברחובות, אני רוצה שאזרחי ישראל יוכלו להגן על עצמם.
مؤشر واضح على أن هذه الحكومة اليمينية الفاشية المتطرفة بدأت في تنفيذ أولوياتها باتجاه استهداف أبناء الشعب الفلسطيني.
Protect the Israeli democracy in order to protect both the Palestinian and Israeli citizens, so there be less terror attacks like this.
מי שינסה לפגוע בנו, אנחנו נפגע בו.
this is what's happening, right? Very, very sad to see Israel plans to make it easier for its citizens to get firearms, right? Now, I am for the Second Amendment, but that is against a tyrannical government. It's not against your neighbor, you know. So, let's see what else has been said. I want weapons on the street. I want Israeli citizens to be able to protect themselves, says some Israel National Security Minister Itamar Ben Gvir. Well, Itamar, you are corrupt, right? You are very, very corrupt. Leave the Palestinians alone. They've had enough torture and enough body bags. You know, the more body bags the Palestinians get, the more angrier they get, right? They left 10 Palestinians dead, including an elderly woman within the span of 24 hours. Ja, mensen, de spiraal van geweld, dat wordt alleen maar erger in Israël. En de bezette gebieden. We zijn voor een twee-staten-oplossing, maar ja, dat zal niet zo ver komen. Ze willen gewoon één staat hebben. They want one state. Not two states, one state. Right? Now, I'm not for the Palestinians. Be aware of that. I'm not for Israel. I'm just laying up objective viewpoint here. You know, leave each other alone. I am for a two-state solution. You know, lay that on table, right? We want an end to all the wars. That is our goal. Ja, we willen een eind aan alle oorlogen. Dat is ons doel. Dat is de reden van RHTVLive. En give back a part to Syria, you know, the Golan Heights, give back the Golan Heights to Syria, and, you know, call the draw. This is enough country for you to live in. But respect your neighbors, you know. Het is echt heel, heel erg triest wat er allemaal in de wereld gebeurt. Maar we leggen het gewoon uit wat er gebeurt. We hebben dus te maken met een groep globalisten. Die een agenda uitvoeren. Dat is namelijk de dehumanisatie van de mens. They want to dehumanize us. They want to demoralize us. They want to destroy us. Right, the 3Ds, and yeah, they're using education to brainwash people. You know, ze gebruiken dus onderwijs om mensen te hersenspoelen, te verwarren en zoiets. Het is echt heel erg triest, maar we kijken natuurlijk naar de wereld en we kijken dus ook naar Amerika. Ja, en waarom kijken we naar Amerika? Nou, de verkiezingen komen eraan. Verkiezingen, die hebben we toch al gehad. In 2024 komen er weer verkiezingen. En wie gaat zich verkiesbaar stellen? Weet iemand dat? Nou, ik zal het je gaan verklappen. Dat is Donald Trump. Ja. Dus wat ze dan doen, de globalisten, is ze gebruiken dat ideologie van transhumanisme in het onderwijs. En Trump die gaat het aanpakken. En we gaan zo een stukje daarvan bekijken. The audio on YouTube is bad, but we can hear you. Israel has been stolen by the satanic government. We already laid out what's happening over there, and very sad to see. But we're also going to take a look at Donald Trump, because the elections are around the corner. Now, you may say, elections, huh? We already have that. But the elections of 2024. So let's see how Donald Trump qualifies the education system in the US, right? They're trying to distract you by saying that there are more genders, and by looking at the color of your skin. We're going to touch upon that too, right? So let's take a look at this here.
Our public schools have been taken over by the radical left maniacs. Here is my plan to save American education, restore power to American parents. First, we will cut federal funding for any school or program pushing critical race theory, gender ideology, or other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. We're not going to allow it to happen. Next, I will direct the Department of Justice and Education to open civil rights investigations into any school district that has engaged in race-based discrimination. That includes discrimination against Asian Americans. The Marxism being preached in our schools is also totally hostile to Judeo-Christian teachings, and in many ways it's resembling an established new religion. Can't let that happen. For this reason, my administration will aggressively pursue potential violations of the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause of the Constitution. That's very simple. Additionally, on day one, we will begin to find and remove the radical zealots and Marxists who have infiltrated the Federal Department of Education. And that also includes others, and you know who you are, because we're not going to allow anybody to hurt our children. Joe Biden has given these lunatics unchecked power. I will have them fired and escorted from the building, and I will tell Congress that any appropriations bill I sign must reaffirm the president's ability to remove defiant employees from the job. It's all about our children. I will veto the sinister effort to weaponize civics education. We will keep men out of women's sports, and we will create a new credentialing body that will be the gold standard anywhere in the world to certify teachers who embrace patriotic values, support our way of life.
Yeah, can you believe that, right? Men in women's sports. Just some guy saying, I feel like a woman. Man, I feel like a woman. And then qualifies as a woman. It's like, what the hell? Society's gone backwards, We need to go forward. And this is a very good indication on how Trump thinks about stuff. Critical race theory, really? Really? Are kids learning that the color of your skin is related to your character? I thought Martin Luther King said, I want a country where people don't look at the color of the skin, but at the character, right? Now, when I see dark-skinned people trashing buildings and stuff like that, that is not peaceful. That is not peaceful, right? If you want to change the world, You have to do it peacefully, because violence only attracts more violence, right? So the presidential campaign is on the way, right? And Donald Trump is very active. He also went to a funeral of what's her name? Diamond? Something Diamond. There were two sisters, conservative people, and one of those sisters died, and he went to the funeral, and he called it a celebration. And this guy is, he's not perfect. He's not perfect. But since we, not even we have a prime minister, Mark Rutte, but this guy is a leader, you know. He may have flaws, but there was 4 years of peace under him, right? Now, let's take a look at what happened during the Biden era, right? Let's take a look at the map and what happened during the Biden era. Well, first of all, he went to Rome and he pooped his pants, basically. And, when the Pope died, he was not allowed to go back to Rome. So that is one thing, right? But let's take a look at Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan has been taken over by Western powers for 20 years. 20 years. And the same excuse was being told, right? We're fighting the Taliban. But who made the Taliban? Where did the Taliban come from? Well, the Mujahideen. Who made the Mujahideen? One of those key players, Zbigniew Brzezinski. He's dead, but still, a very influence in that region. And, now the Taliban is back in power. So you're telling me that you're invading a country to fight off a group that you used to support, right? And now that same group is back in power because you left Afghanistan, right? You guys remember that? Yeah, we're going down to memory lane, and let's see the Afghan withdrawal. So Afghan withdrawal there. Let's see. There were like people hanging on to planes and stuff like that. It was crazy, man. And I'm not making this up, right? This really happened. Let's see if we can find it. Maybe it's scrubbed off internet. Here we go. Afghanistan crisis. Desperate locals cling to the side of U.S. Air Force plane taking off from Kabul. Now, these people, they hardly ever see planes, and they think, it's nothing. But when the plane takes off, yeah, you can't hold on to anything. Thousands of Afghans desperate to leave the country have been climbing thronging Kabul airport, some tried climbing over the wall. So there you go. There you go. You see this guy waving, yay, yay, yay. Yeah, we're going to leave. Yeah, right. You're going to fall off a plane. That's what you're going to do. Ja, mensen. Dus, ja, dat is een Biden, hè. Dat is een Biden. Dat noemt zich dan een president. Nou, ik heb liever Trump. Ondanks de slechte dingen. Trump heeft ook slechte dingen gedaan, zoals Syrië aangevallen. Gelukkig geen gewonden. Ergens in een verlaten woestijn. Vanwege er was iemand in Engeland vergiftigd. En Rusland kreeg de schuld. En dat terrein in Syrië was in Russische handen. Dus ja, zo komt er een tegenaanval. Maar goed, critical race theory, right? So let's take a look at critical race theory. Now, let's see what CNN says about that, right? Opinion. The police who killed Tyre Nichols were black, but they might still have been driven by racism. Oh, racism here, racism there, right? They want to divide you. Now, this is a tragedy what happened over there in the U.S. And it should not have happened, you know. But don't look at the color of the skin, look at the actions of people. Ja. Wat is er gebeurd? Ze wouden iemand gaan arresteren. Tyre Nichols, die wou ze gaan arresteren. En ja, hij werkte niet echt mee. Kreeg een knuppel in de nek en nog een aantal schoppen en slaan en noem het allemaal op. En die is overleden. Ja, door politiegeweld. Dus, look at the actions of people, right? And I believe the cops are being prosecuted for the tragedy, what happened to the Nichols family. Now, we're not going to talk about what really happened, but, you know, this guy died at the hands of the state. You are obsolete. That's what they think. So, ja mensen, wat hebben we nog op de kaart? Even kijken. Ja, nog heel veel meer. Maar dat komt dan weer een andere keer. Hé, dat rijmt. Ja, dat komt dan weer een andere keer. So, let's see the comments here. CRT creating racial tension, color is only skin deep. Indeed, indeed. You know, we are all human beings. And I don't care where you're from, you know, I don't care. It's about the actions you do. That changes the world. The actions you do. So let's shut. Oh, wait. We got another message from Ron Paul. Ukraine rocked by massive corruption scandal. Oh, okay. Let's support the war, right? And let's have these Ukrainian politicians buy out houses and a new sports car and, stuff like that. Let's take a look at Ron Paul, former U.S. presidential candidate, and let's take a look at what he has to say about Ukraine, together with his co-host, what's his name? I forgot. Oh, well.
With us today is Daniel McAdams, our co-host. Daniel, good to see you today.
Good morning, Dr. Paul. How are you this morning?
Good, but I'm waiting for the rain to come. Not that I
Rain.
need the rain, and we don't need it because of our tin roof.
Yeah, people will hear it if it comes.
It might come, but first off, we have to sound better than the tin roof. That's
Yes.
what we have to do. And we have some interesting stuff today. Not any total surprises, but just confirmation on how ridiculous some of these things are in the world. We want to start off with one big surprise.
Yes.
Corruption in Ukraine. They're abusing the money they're getting. What is it, up to $1 trillion they got?
I'm
And
sure,
we keep
at
pouring
least.
out
Yeah.
100,000 Ukrainians, a huge number of Ukrainians having died from this war, and everybody's just wondering what's going on, how long is this going to last. But there is some investigation now. They've discovered corruption within the administration of Zelensky, and of course he wouldn't be involved. But they're prosecuting some people. They say some of them may go to jail. But for some reason, I don't think anybody's holding their breath from that. But it's good that it's coming out. But it's like, wow, why didn't they know about this? And I was thinking that if a person a few years ago, when this all started, and especially when the money's flowed, it wouldn't have been a tough prediction to say, don't sweat it, it'll end up in corruption. I have a generalized statement. You send the money to other nations and people who are in trouble with war and all, the money never goes to the people who are suffering. The people who are starving and getting killed, they don't get help. But the people, the money is divided up, and then there's a big fight over the good guys and the bad guys, and we pick and we decide who the good guys are, and we keep sending money. But I don't think they should be surprised of this. I think this is probably a little bit of, it's a consequence you could expect, but it's minor compared to the big corruption. To me, the big corruption, why do the American people allow this to happen, allow a Federal Reserve to print the money, and the deep state send the money over there, precipitating the war, having a coup, and doing all those things. So this is petty crimes, serious, and it's good if they do it. Maybe, but I want them to investigate a little bit more. What in thunder are we doing there?
Yeah.
And that's been going on for so long. I guess the very first time I started talking out about this was, in the 1960s. It was Vietnam at the time. I was wondering what was going on in Korea, but really I got my attention more in the 60s. But it's been going on and on. But it's interesting. There's a little shift here. We might be able to mention this. Is that this is a sterile war. The most important thing is we do this. We have the deep state. We're going to take on Russia. We threaten them, and but we don't want to see any body bags back here. That's when the American people tend to think, hey, maybe this is costing us something. They're waking up a little bit. It's costing them something if they ever realize that inflation is an ultimate result of this type of a foreign policy. It contributes to it, which we made that point many times. So it's to me a mess. I'm not very optimistic. The best thing that could come from this is calling attention to the corruption, but then expand it. When does this corruption start? And I think it started when we put our nose into somebody's business that we shouldn't have done.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that the mainstream media was quoting Transparency International, which has consistently found that Ukraine is the most corrupt country in Europe. And then all of a sudden in February, when they finally got their war, that was forgotten. Nobody talked about corruption. Oh, they're cleaning up. That's fine. We don't want to hear anything about this. And now with this scandal unfolding, and it is massive, it goes to every level of government, from the defense minister down to mayors. That's how deep this corruption scandal is. It's interesting to see. I was just looking at the BBC's version of what's happening. And rather than saying massive corruption scandal uncovered in Ukraine, their headline is Ukraine finally doing something about corruption, you know? And we've talked about it before, but it reminds me of I think both of our favorite scenes in Casablanca, where he says, there's gambling going on in here. You know, who would have thought it? But let's put on this first clip, because this is from Politico. And I think it's significant because it is in Politico. They can't ignore what's happening in Ukraine right now. And this says, Defense Minister Reznikov under fire as corruption probes rock Ukraine. Go on to the next one. This is from the article. And this is basically what's happened. And it's both the inquiries are related to war profiteering and triggered an immediate pledge of action from President Zelensky. The case involving the Defense Ministry involved purchases of military rations at inflated prices. Basically, you buy something for twice what it is on the market value, and then you split the difference between you and your corrupt people and the corrupt suppliers. And that apparently is what happened here. But wait, there's more, as they say on TV. Put this next one on, because while Reznikov is vigorously defending the ministry's contract, Deputy Minister of Communities, Territories, and Infrastructure Development, Vasyl Lozinski, was fired immediately. The National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine reported the deputy minister was busted while accepting $400,000 for facilitating an overpriced power generating equipment purchase. Again, that's the same thing. They bought generators at, I don't know, twice the price, 3 times the price. Hey, let's split the difference. Now, this stuff has been going on in Ukraine forever. So there's a few questions we have. Why is it coming out now when the wheels seem to be coming off the war, at least for the Ukraine is winning people? And what does it mean, and how far will it go? And the final thing I'll say in this first segment, Dr. Paul, just to kind of lay out the scene, if you'll put this next one, this is from the BBC report. It's not just these two people. The defense minister himself has been under scrutiny. A host of other top officials were dismissed on Tuesday, i.e. today, including Deputy Prosecutor General, Deputy Minister for Development of Communities and Territories, Deputy Minister for Development of Communities and Territories, Vyacheslav Negoda, Deputy Minister for Social Policy, and the regional governors of Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, Kiev, Sumy, and Kherson. So this, and they're saying now that it may actually hit the prime minister. He may be the next to go. And this is all in the shadow of course, the departure of the president's top advisor, who was also forced to resign last week because he started telling the truth, and an admission by the head of their intelligence that his intelligence agency assassinated one of the negotiators early in the war, who happened to be from another Ukrainian intelligence agency. So the wheels are coming off this. The question is why now, and what does it mean?
You know, what I notice here is this is not a discussion about policy. Why are we there? What are we doing? How's the war going? This is a consequence of a war gone badly, but it was going badly before it started. But what they're in the process now that I see is they're dividing up the loot. I mean, there's a lot of loot over there. It's all in all forms, in the form of weapons and food and so much. But it has nothing to do with how do we get out of this mess, because we help create the mess. And it could well be that the concentration on this away from where the battle zones are and when that's going to change and whose policy is it, it's an admission of defeat. Yeah. I think when they're down to the bottom line there and everybody's grabbing, I think there was a bit of that when the Soviet system was coming apart. Sure. Who was going to walk away with the loot? And the loot came from mostly America, and we did that, and it was a big mistake. There's going to be a limit. So the only thing is that it's tough searching for something. How can we get something positive out of this? I just hope it wakes up a few more people and say, what in thunder are we doing there? It makes no sense. Oh, well, we're defending the Constitution and our freedoms, and we have to do this or the Russians will come and invade us. So that is a problem. Getting the truth out, and hopefully we can.
That's what we're doing, Mr. Paul. We're getting the truth out, right? And it's up to you to share the truth, right? Now, I'm not part of a political party. I don't support any any ideology, basically. Call me an anarchist, but I believe that government is there to, make use of the population, brainwash them, and do all sorts of stuff with them, because, these people aren't looking, right? They don't see reality. That's their train of thought. But I see reality as it is. Ukraine has always been corrupt, and it's very sad to see that so much money is going to Ukraine, and basically they're trying to save themselves, right? Buying a new sports car, and it's insane. There are people dying, right? Let's take a look at Patrick Lancaster. Let's see what he has to say, because he's over there in the east of Ukraine. And let's see, 2 days ago, children being targeted in Ukrainian war zone. So let's take a look at what's happening over there in the east of Ukraine. Leave these people alone.
Я сейчас себя нормально чувствую.
Да? Спасибо нашим врачам. Они хорошие сделали, да? Да, герои. И скорая, и вообще. Все вовремя, все быстро, да. Спасибо обычным людям, всем, кто помогает, кто слышит, кто знает эту ситуацию.
И вы мама, да?
Мама, да.
Ага. И сколько лет?
9. 9 лет ребенку.
9 лет?
Да,
Ага.
9 лет.
Ага, понял. Это Петровка, да?
Да.
Какой...
Петровский район.
Ага, какой
города Донецка.
Улица?
Менделеева.
Менделеева.
Дом 35, да.
Ага. И как там сейчас?
Ну как, руины.
Полный?
Ну, может, что-то есть.
So this kid was, at his home, doing kid stuff. I don't know what he was doing, but he was bombed. He was shelled, and he basically survived and went to the hospital. So he was in the area of shelling, and very, very sad to see.
Я в больнице нахожусь, я не знаю, что там сейчас.
Ага.
Разбирают завалы, наверное, люди, обычные жители. В крышу прямое попадание в дом.
Ага.
Как раз там, где находился ребенок с бабушкой.
Угу. Понял. И вы это бежит на мирный район?
Мирный, конечно, там нет никаких военных.
Нету военных объектов?
Нет, это обычный дом, частный дом.
Как это? Почему украинские стреляют там? Если это
И правда, почему? Это к ним, наверное, вопрос. 9 лет живем в войне. Каждый день одно и то же.
You see, they've been living in a war zone for 9 years.
Конечно, там нет никаких военных.
Нету военных объектов?
Нет, это обычный дом, частный дом.
Как это? Почему украинские стреляют там, если это
И правда, почему? Это к ним, наверное, вопрос.
We've been living for 9 years in the war. Every day is the same. Very, very sad to see that the government is shelling their own people. Dit gebeurt, mensen, dit gebeurt. Het Westen mag het Oosten niet van Oekraïne. Het is ook gescheiden, letterlijk en figuurlijk gescheiden, door een rivier. En we brengen dat even in kaart. So it's being separated by a river, basically. And let's lay it out on the map. Here we have Ukraine, and there you go. And here's the river flowing through Ukraine into the Black Sea, right? So we have the east and the west of Ukraine. Now, during World War II, the west of Ukraine wanted to join the Nazi group, right? And the east of Ukraine wanted to join the communist group. And that has been the divide ever since. You know, now the West wants to join the EU and the East wants to join the Russian Federation. We've already had the referendums in the Donbass area, which is in the east of Ukraine. So, and they want to join Russia. And we also have the Crimea, who joined Russia. It was not an annexation, it was a referendum, but people say it's an annexation because there were Russian soldiers in the Crimea. But that is because there was a pact, because Ukraine and Russia had a pact. There were Russian soldiers in Sevastopol and other areas. So, but now it's called the Kharkiv Pact, right? Let's take a look at the Kharkiv Pact. Let's see. Even kijken hoor. First, we're going to take a look at how much Canada gives to Ukraine. Since January 2014, the coup that happened in Ukraine, we have committed more than 890 million in multifaceted support to Ukraine using a range of instruments. These instruments include development, humanitarian, and financial assistance. That is Canada's engagement in Ukraine. So, and the Netherlands is also investing in Ukraine and other countries. And we know Ukraine is corrupt, right? So, the Kharkiv Pact, Kharkiv Pact, there. Here we have the Kharkiv Pact, and it's basically a military cooperation between Russia and Ukraine, and that was the reason why there were Russian soldiers in Crimea, right? So, and ever since the coup in Ukraine, Russia said, we're not taking part of this, you know. So this is what's happening in the world, and I hope I've said enough for now. I gave you guys a lot of background, and we're going to close off with Ollie the Octopus, but never forget what's happening in the east of Ukraine. And your leaders, whether you're in America or Canada, of je nou in Nederland zit of Duitsland, of je nou daar bent of daar, your leaders are supporting the war. I believe there's also a Twitter thing I posted, which is also, why not take a look at that, right? Put a cherry on the top. Let's see. Twitter, there you go. Now, let's see how Canada, oh, that is not allowed. Censor, that you're not allowed to see that. Maybe they'll take the video out. Who knows? So, but we're going to take a look at how Canada deals with the Ukrainian war. This beautiful looking doll is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly. She stated on January 23rd, in order to get to lasting peace, we need to make sure that we continue to arm Ukraine. So we're going to take a look at this here.
Canadians know that in order to get to lasting peace, we need to make sure that we continue to arm Ukraine. And when doing so, there's still a lot to do. And for sure, we will be doing more. That's what I can tell you right now. Canadians know that in order to get to lasting peace, we need to make sure that we continue to arm Ukraine. And
so giving weapons is making peace. No. That's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. But who knows, maybe the corrupt government will fall. Let's hope that. And we will have peace in Ukraine. So I promised Ollie the Octopus, and we're going to shut off with that. Ollie the Octopus. We love Ollie. We'll always remember the thing you did in front of the American embassy in, I believe, London. You know, so this is very, very cool thing to do.
Okay. Rolling.
Hello, this is Ollie the Octopus.
Hi, here we are outside the US Embassy. I'm about to play my song. It's called They're Going to Get You. We're filming them because they film us. If you don't renew your tax disc, you'll be driving at your own risk. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They can use their Jedi mind tricks, psychometric biometrics. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. CCTV in your clamshell, turning in the grave of Orwell. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. DNA no longer your own because they've mapped out your genome. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, them, and when you're on your own. Daddies, watch your daughters, there's Prozac in the water. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. Don't start a revolution, they'll get you with their air pollution. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. Because we think we are paranoid, their forces are still deployed. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They get your details in the dope, now they know you, they're going to get you. Careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, and when you're on your own, 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 on your own. I'm gonna go over here for the last verse.
Nice one.
Good afternoon.
By the way, today I work for the police entertainment unit, here to make your day a little bit more exciting. entertaining. Have you not heard of that?
They'll look you up for them, it's not hard, so look your best on your ID card. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They can make your life live in hell if you even mention Roswell. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. You can join in if you want. They're going to get you, they're going
To get you, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. When you're on your own, be careful what you say. Be careful when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. They know when you're on your own. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live. When you're on your own, 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 on your
We love you, Ollie.
You are allowed to clap.
Ollie the Octopus, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, just to explain, if I may, police, you probably don't know about the police department, but there's a group of us, and what we do various things to kind of cheer up the police and get them a bit more connected to us, the ununiformed. And one of the, I'm actually the head of the police hugging department. Yeah, all right. And
No hugs?
you're not up for a hug?
Hugging makes the world
Sir?
a better place. Can we
Sir,
hug
you up
you?
for a hug, sir?
Can we please hug you?
No?
But it's only a nice hug.
It's just a hug.
We're all
Go on.
we're all
Are
beautiful
you
and
allowed
unique
to?
snowflakes of Mother Nature and all the rest of it. No?
Exactly, Charlie. We are all beautiful and unique snowflakes of Mother Nature. And I'm not a religious person, but I believe there's a phrase in the Bible where you have to respect your neighbors, right? So we want peace. We do not want war. We want peace, right? We want the intelligent minds to come together wherever you're from. And, we have to fix this problem because the people in power do not fix it. They might fire someone. If you look at England, there was someone fired, but, that position will be filled again. So, they're not doing it in your interest. Ja. Speelt niet ons belang, speelt dus niet mee. En zij doen wat zij willen. Kijk naar Rutte, die zegt van, ik wil best de rest van mijn leven premier zijn. Serieus, our prime minister said, I want to be the prime minister for the rest of my life. Right? Dat gaan we ook nog even opzoeken. Dus moet je eens voorstellen, zo'n rampenkabinet als Rutte 10. Nou, dat moeten we echt niet hebben. Hè? Snap je? Dat moeten we niet hebben. Dus dat laten we ook nog even zien met wat voor knakworst wij te maken hebben. Ik wil best de rest van mijn leven premier zijn. Nou, dat zegt genoeg. Wij moeten ervoor zorgen dat het niet zo ver komt. Jullie zijn het licht. Doei doei en tot de volgende keer.